2008 Toyota Tundra with a 5.7 liter, not starting up. I just wanted to show you real quick where the fuse boxes are and the starter motor location and give you a couple quick tips, not going into too much detail. But we'll start by showing you, put the key in and fire it up. Nothing. I do hear it clicking though, right down in the left here. I'll go to in a second. Your first step if it's not starting is turn your blower on. I hear it's nice and strong, no lights have dimmed, so we can assume at that point that our battery is good. Come down where your left feet would go and you look up, you will see the first fuse box. So that one's for most of the interior components. And go ahead and pop your hood, and your relay, main relay and fuse box is right here. So you push in on this one and then pop that up on the back. It's got those two quick hooks. Okay, starter motor relay is what I wanted to show you. You can see it shows on the cover ST. Luckily they label this cover, which is really awesome when manufacturers do that. We'll jump back to this starter relay in a second. If you have the 4.7 liter, the starter is underneath the intake manifold, and definitely a real PETA to get to. If you have the 5.7 liter, then it's located, I actually do have another video I will plug up in the top right corner over here on how to do the starter in these, but that one is located behind the passenger side exhaust manifold. You can see it already does have an aftermarket starter in there, so I'm wondering if that's the issue, but we're gonna go play with the relay first. So good quick check would be leave your key in the on position, and then if you haven't used a power probe before, I'm always recommending these, but it's really no better than a test light and a jump wire. I'll plug a link to these down below. They really do come in handy. We can pull our relay out. When you're looking at your relay, the small pins are the trigger side. So this would be where when you turn your key, you're getting power sent to these. And then the switch that's being bridged, or the load side, is usually the large pin. So that would be what's sending power to the starter motor. And if we jump in here with a power probe, we can see, so we got power right there on one of the big pins. That means, now if you didn't have power on this pin right here, then you want to check the main fuse or power going to this here, because you need to be getting power on that pin. This one is ground, that's nothing, so that's going to the starter. And then the two small pins, we got ground and nothing. So those are going to be the ones we're going to be wanting to check. But if we want to start it up with the key on, if I go to the ground side, this should be the starter, and it will fire up probably if I hit this, unless it has a bad starter. Boom. Now if you send power to that pin I just showed you and it doesn't start, or you hear the starter just clicking down there, then you more than likely have a bad starter motor, and you can go ahead and diagnose from there. I will do my diag now and find out why it's not starting, and I'll let you know. Now the first cause could be a bad relay, which I'm gonna go check in a second, but basically to check that, you apply power and ground to this side and you should hear it click, and then these two copper looking terminals should have continuity between them. The next check would be, if I have ground right here, then when you turn your key, this side should be getting power, and if it's not, then we have to go find out why. Or another good way to check that is partially plug this back in so that you can still get to the pins. And now on that one I was saying should have power, let's apply a power to that. And it starts up, so that means our relay is good, we're just not getting a power signal from the key switch. By the way, if you applied power up there and you sent the 12 volts down to the starter, like I was doing, and it didn't start, I think my next step would be grabbing a large pipe and giving that starter motor a tap, because sometimes they get a dead spot, or the relay contacts just get gummed up and stuck in there, especially when it's cold. That would probably be my next step. And then of course you'd want to try to get to the contacts on here and check for if you're getting power at the starter. But unfortunately that's pretty tough with these Tundras, because they're very hard to get to. Next step is I got a wiring diagram, and so this is our starter motor. We know this is all good, and these three connections on the relay are good. This one is the problem. We're not getting power to it. So if I follow this down, I can see it should be getting power through from the transmission range selector. It tells it when it's in park. So I'm gonna have to verify that, but next step was checking these fuses, these AM1 and AM2 right here, these 7.5s, and those are good. They are located right here. Good thing to really just check the whole fuse box, and all you got to do is take your test light or power probe and make sure that both sides of each fuse is hot. So if you get one hot side and one ground, then you know the fuse is blown. Go ahead and replace that if it is. I think I'll now hook a scanner up and see if the computer knows that it's actually in park or not. Not everyone has a scan tool at their disposal, but this gives us some good information. I've selected, you can see we do know that we're in park, and if I put it in reverse, that should go off. Boom. Next one down, starter signal is off. So when I turn the key, you can see it still stays off, and so does the starter relay. So the computer is not getting signal from this key switch. My next step is going to be tearing into the ignition switch and seeing if I'm getting power on this blue at the switch and sending power out on the green, because it seems that the ECM is not getting a command to start. Normally you can just pull this apart and down, or there'll be some screws going in from the bottom, but it looks like there's a Phillips behind the steering. So let me see if I can somehow get to that. Silly me, all you got to do is clock it 90 degrees each way, and then you can get to those Phillips. So remove those. With them off, you can separate these halves, and that pops right off. Plenty of access now. I should have power on the blue and on the white. I do. And I apologize for all this focus, but that green should get power when I turn the switch. It does. And then this gray wire, looking back at the switch, yeah, this is the ACC side, I guess. So when the key's off, it should have nothing. And then when we turn it on, it should just get power to that all the time. Okay, so that's cool. Since I have power coming out of the starter switch, I don't know where this junction connector is, but I'm gonna jump over to the PCM, or ECM should I say. And it looks like connector A24. I want to see if I have power coming in on, looks like 41, this brown wire. I'm sorry, I meant brown 14, not 41. Down here on A24 connector, I have back probed number 14, the brown wire. Can't really get you a good angle, and when I turn the key, that gets 12 volts sent to it. I'm now going to go up to 16 on the D74 connector where it says STAR, start, blue. I think I should have power coming out of that, going over to this junction, and then to my park range sensor. So let's check D7416. That's going to be located on the top one. You see 16 right there. So this does have a cover on it. Let's see if we can go. It's going to be 8 wires down from the top, so this one right there, that blue one right there. And start. Seeing that made me jump back and pull the scan tool out, because I showed you before that I didn't think the PCM was telling the starter to go, but it turns out I missed one. There's a fourth starter control. So check this out. When I turn the key now, boom, and you hear that beep, it is going on. So the PCM is telling it to start. Now that I know that, all the PCM pinout stuff was a waste of time, and we're going to jump over to the transmission range sensor, which that is located on the passenger side of the transmission. And on the range sensor, when you turn the key to start, power comes in on the blue and comes out the red. However, it's still not starting, so that must mean that I have a break in between this location and up at the relay. So let me dig in. And you wouldn't believe me if I told you, but I just found the brake, like lickety split. Taking a second glance at this box, I did notice these little nuts down here, and that means probably had some mice up in here at one point. So I started wiggling around, and this wire right here came around the back, started pulling on it, and boom. Look at that. Clean brake. Tossed the thermal shrink butt connector on there, and let's see if she fires up. Oh yeah, good stuff. Easy fix, right? Suppose that took a little longer than it should have. Thinking back, when I didn't have power at this relay, I should have just went right to the transmission range sensor, and especially with the salt underneath the vehicle, and made sure that all that was kosher, and I could have saved myself a lot of time. But what kind of steered me the other direction was when I was using the scanner, I didn't see starter signal, and so I was thinking that the PCM was not sending signal to start, but I had overlooked that, and well, that set me back a little bit. No big deal though, got it figured out. Hopefully this video gave you a good idea how the starting system works, and you know, things don't always go as smooth, so consider dropping the thumbs up if it helped you out, and subscribing to the channel or checking out another video. And thanks a lot. See you in the next one.